She grew up in a world where she was told she was too dark. Society enforced this mindset on little girls of color through movies, television, and dolls. Yet the only way for her to rise was to transform like a butterfly. Not any butterfly, a black butterfly. Every butterfly must transform before they fly. Coming soon on the Greatness 5 channel, the Darla Tobin Blake story. Our story begins in the city of Three Rivers, Michigan, located about 136 miles east of Chicago. Founded in the 1860s, Three Rivers has a population of less than 8,000 people and only 10% people of color.
For a young black girl growing up in a predominantly white town during the 70s, it can have a detrimental impact on her psyche.
As a young girl, Darla was constantly teased about her skin color or being too dark in a world that promoted other images of beauty. During the early 70s, the words pretty or beautiful were not used when describing a brown-skinned woman. A few years later, Darla's perception of her skin color and her inner beauty immediately changed after meeting one person in Dallas, Texas.
There are those special times in life where someone can speak life into you, causing a metamorphosis.
After graduating high school, Darla met the man of her dreams, a true prince, a former military man, John Blakes. John was very romantic. John placed Darla on a pedestal that most women will never see in a lifetime.
John and Darla had a love affair that was as big as any romantic movie you've ever seen. Through his love, John convinced Darla that she could do anything in life she wanted to do. John convinced Darla that she was his beautiful black butterfly. Darla had found her king.
Northeast to 4th Street. Be making contact with the other half here.
June 25, 2014, John Blakes collapsed in front of Darla. Darla frantically tried to revive him. She poured every ounce of love into John in order to revive him, but it wasn't to be. John passed away, devastating Darla because she not only lost her husband, but she lost her best friend.
How was it possible to dream of a fairy tale romance, attain it, lose it within a heartbeat? The sporting events, the jazz clubs, the beach, all gone from a lost heartbeat. How does a human being move from that without some type of metamorphosis?
After John's death, deep depression set into Darla's heart. She gained weight and almost lost her will to live. Until one day, Darla promised God that she would take care of her body by losing weight and living out her educational dreams in honor of John. Darla's focus on weight loss and education went through the roof. In a short period of time, she earned her master's degree and developed a healthy diet and lifestyle. Still slightly depressed that John could not see the change, Darla had one more miracle metamorphosis left in her soul. The little girl from Three Rivers, who was once called derogatory names because of her skin color, had transformed her body and soul into all the things that John saw in her. But it wasn't enough. Deep down inside, Darla still dreamed of following in the footsteps of new images of class and beauty. Diana Ross, Iman, and Beverly Johnson.
So here she is, almost 48 years old, still dreaming in her head that she could be a runway model. And on a pure whim, Darla decided to see if she could enter a prestigious runway modeling event in Las Vegas with women half her age. If she could even be picked as one of the runway models, she would have been satisfied. But then another miracle took place.
After several contacts, Darla went to try out, and she was chosen to be in this prestigious event. But the designer of the event took it one step further. He approached Darla with the most incredible show-stopping dress. When Darla asked him, "Why am I wearing this dress?" he simply replied, "You are a showstopper. You will close the show."
You know, one can only speculate how this happens. To be called Blackie when she was 9 years old, and then walk in off the street and become a showstopper at a major event, it's either a miracle or it's either Big John, her husband, from up above, begging his wife to fly like the black butterfly she is.
Some call them crazy. Some call them college students. Some call them revolutionaries. But most call them the Black Panther Party. Now showing on the Greatness 5 channel. Filling your history in minutes. Subscribe now.
And I can truly say that God blessed me with a gem of a man in every way possible, you know, loving to his wife, to his family, to his children, and was great at being a great friend to other people as well. And our journey started, wow, now it would have been 33 years ago when our journey started. And we were together for 25 of those 33 years until God took him home. Yeah, he didn't want me to work. He wanted me to actually retire with him. John was able to retire at a young age, like in his late 40s. Like I said, he served in the U.S. military, in the Army, 82nd Airborne, woohoo, shout out to all of those military vets out there and active duty members. So yes, he always had a dream for his wife to not work. He wanted to be the sole provider. And so I stopped working. Yeah, like we would drive from Dallas back to Virginia. Wow. And back to Dallas, or Dallas to Miami. Yes, long trips, and even around throughout Texas, because you know Texas is so big. Years of our time together, we shared a car. And at that time, you didn't really need as many cars as they do now. You know, it's just he and I. He worked not too far from where we lived, and I worked like 5 minutes away as well. So we would share the same car, but we would go on those trips on the weekend, every holiday. We're in the car, we're doing a road trip. Even if it's just to maybe drive from Dallas to San Antonio or to Austin, that's what we would do. And then Monday, the next day, John had complained of having problems with his mouth, like he kept having toothache, and he didn't know where it came from because John had. And I happened to fall asleep after that conference call, and when I woke up, God woke me up like at 1 a.m. that morning, and the light was on in our bedroom. And so I walked over, and John wasn't watching TV, and I saw him. He was laying across the bed, face down, like on his stomach. And underneath, it just dawned on me, underneath him, there was like some cherry. So I don't know what happened. So I'm walking in, I'm like, what's going on? I'm looking around like, what's going on? And I sit down and I'm like shaking him like, John, wake up, what's going on? And nothing. And I immediately started to panic. I called 911 and I'm like frantic and just, oh my gosh, what do I do? And they're telling me I told them about my husband. I found him unresponsive, and they're like, you need to get him off the bed onto the floor. And meanwhile, I'm on the phone with the paramedics or with 911, and they're telling me the paramedics are on their way. And by the time they got there, and I kept, doing the CPR, John was gone. He was gone. I had no family in San Diego, and I'm feeling so lost, just so lonely, and just could not believe that my whole life that I had spent with this one person for 25 years was gone. I spent my entire adult life with this one person. And when he was gone, because it's my best friend, my confidant, my lover, my everything. And to have seen that, like I said, I can say this, here it is 8 years later, but it feels like it was yesterday because it's so very real. It's so real. I didn't want to go any further because like my whole life, like I said, was right there with that one person. Everything that I did, every part of me was us together. It was we as one. And then I had to become a me as one and figure out who I was without the identity of being a spouse or a stepmom or a sister. I had to figure out who am I without him in my life. Yes. Oh, if it wasn't for the people at my school at the time, Southern New Hampshire University, the professors, the academic advisors, they stood by me. They made sure they encouraged me to keep going because one of my goals was to graduate again with honors for my master's program as I did for my undergrad program 10 years prior to that. And I did it, and I couldn't believe that I actually still stuck to the goals that I had set forth. And I know John was there pushing me along the way to keep going because it was 3 years later that I actually finished. The program is a 3-year program, and I was able to finish it and still manage to graduate with honors, as difficult as it was.
And when you got your graduation, you said you pointed to the sky? When you actually...
Yeah. Yes. When I flew myself to New Hampshire, I didn't invite anybody. I just wanted to go get my degree and just have that time with John and to say I did it. And when I walked across that stage and they take that final picture of you and you're holding your diploma, and all I can remember is just looking up and saying, I did it, to John, just saying, I did it. And that was the best feeling ever. Even though I didn't have anybody in the crowd that I knew, cheering for me, that was my moment right there. I had made a vow to God, to John, and to myself that I was going to take care of myself inwardly, outwardly. I was going to start on the inside first and get my heart right, get my mind right, get my soul right. And then I knew eventually everything else would work its way and appear on my outside appearance. But during that time, I had weighed, oh my gosh, I think I got up to maybe, and I'm 5'10", so I had got up to like probably 240 to almost 250, like 249. And I would start juicing and making smoothies because, like I said, I couldn't taste or smell. And so that's what happened. And then I was still staying active, doing walking and Pilates and yoga. I love to do the hot yoga, but sticking to that routine and just make it easy where it's not something. And next thing I know, I started losing weight. And for me, the goal was to lose the weight slowly. Because if you're losing the weight slowly, that means you're going to keep the weight on. You're going to keep that same pace and the weight's not going to come back. The word got back to me that one of the designers, a well-known designer, was looking for models for upcoming charity. And I volunteered to do this, and who would have known? I went in, got fitted, and I got fitted. Not just did I just get fitted, but I got fitted for the showstopper, right? The showstopper outfit is the highlight of the whole show, of the whole collection, right? Yes. And I was so excited. I could not believe this. And here I am, 40, how old was I? 40, that was in 2018. Gosh, I'm losing. I think it was 48, almost 49 when that happened. And I'm like, here I am, the oldest. And here you are, almost 49, 50 years old, and you're the showstopper. Like, wow.